Today, I am going to be ranking all of the Nintendo Switch games that I personally have played. And when I say I've played it, I mean that like I haven't just played it for a couple hours and then like put it down because I got distracted by another game or got bored. Like these are games that I've played several hours of. I feel like I can accurately rate them. And then just to kind of go through the rating and what I am going to consider for all of these. So S rank is like, it's a priceless work of art. It's amazing. It like, you don't have words for how good it is. A rank is, you know, it's still pretty amazing. It's memorable, but just not like quite S rank, but still really good. B is, it's pretty good, but like nothing super special, but like I liked it. C is meh, like not good, not bad. It's just kind of in the middle. And D is like, I did not like it. Without further ado, let's get started. Okay, first things first, we have Dr. Mario. So Dr. Mario is actually something you can play on the NES game collection that they have on the Switch. So if you have Nintendo Online, you get free access to the NES and SNES games. So surprisingly, I've actually played quite a bit of Dr. Mario. Basically, it's like Tetris, but there's viruses on the screen and you have to eliminate the viruses to progress to the next level. And you can also do 2-player. And basically, it's like whoever gets rid of all the viruses first or just like outlasts the other person wins that round. So for Dr. Mario, I would probably place it as like a B, honestly. And the reason for that is mostly just because, like I said, like it's pretty good, but it's not like, wow, that's an amazing game. But you know, it's kind of fun. It's pretty simple, but it's fun. Next game is Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, and it was like the, you know, like remastered version they did for the Switch. So I actually played it on the Wii, and I'll tell you what, that little control system they had for the Wii was ridiculous. Like, I don't know who in their right mind thought it was a good idea to have motion controls for a game where you need to be so accurate with how you are attacking enemies, and it was infuriating. So having them upgrade it to where you could just use the controller to fight enemies, that was like amazing. That was a very good upgrade. And of course, you know, the higher resolution and stuff and just the better graphics was also nice. I like the story of Skyward Sword too. I think it's really cute personally. I don't know. And like, I just think it's a good game. Nothing like, not like the most amazing, like top of the top game I've ever played, but I would probably put it like as an A, just because it was pretty good. It was like amazing, but like I said, not like priceless. Okay, Fall Guys. So I put Fall Guys on here too, and I have a couple other games that I've like done online for. Like I said, anything that I played on the Switch, I put on here. I like Fall Guys personally. I think it's a kind of funny game. I do get infuriated by it sometimes, but it's fun to play. I will say this, if you're going to play any sort of online gaming, the Switch is probably the worst system you can do that on. All in all, I still feel like Fall Guys is pretty playable on the Switch, and it is fun, and it's a good thing to play with friends. And you don't even need Nintendo Switch Online to play it. You can literally play it without Nintendo Switch Online, which is actually really a good plus. So I would probably put it as a B, just because it's not like an amazing game, and it's obviously not the best game, but it's better than like mediocre. Like, it's a good game. Next game is Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, which is actually based on like the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild series, basically. And it's basically just like, you know, a basic Warriors game where, you know, you're running around defeating hordes of enemies. I played through it and I liked it, but honestly, like, it wasn't like I was totally in love with the game or even like infatuated with it. It was kind of like, I don't know, it was kind of mid for me. Like, it wasn't bad, but it just also was not amazing for me personally. So I'm gonna put it as a C, just because, like I said, like I kind of played it once and then forgot about it. And what's sad is I actually bought DLC for this game and I still haven't played it just because I'm not really drawn to it, honestly. So yeah, I'll put it as a C. Okay, next, The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. This is actually a super cute game, and maybe sometime I'll play it on a stream just because it's kind of a cute, cozy game in my opinion. I mean, there's like dungeons and stuff, but it's like cutesy. Anyway, I liked it a lot actually, and it's like a pretty good amount of time you play on it too. It's like 20 hours maybe. And it's nothing too crazy or complicated. It's just like a basic dungeon game. But I did enjoy it. Wasn't the best Zelda game I've ever played, but it was pretty good. So I will put it as a B. Luigi's Mansion 3 is next. So Luigi's Mansion 3 is actually pretty good. I'm still a little mad that Nintendo has not given us a remake of the first Luigi's Mansion on the Switch, but maybe they'll do that on the next console. You never know. They could do that. Anyway, so for Luigi's Mansion 3, I would probably put that as an A. And the reason I'm going to put it as an A is because it was a pretty good game. Honestly, it was a lot of fun. I liked that they had co-op. The co-op was a good feature. Honestly, it made it so my husband and I could play together without one of us being like, oh my gosh, this is so boring. I'm just watching this person play. It had a good amount of time. Like you could play on it. Like it was like at least a 20-hour game. Lots of levels, some cool bosses, good plot line. Wasn't the most amazing, memorable game I've ever played in my entire life, but it was really good. And I would probably play it again, and I actually have played it more than once. So yeah, we'll put it as an A. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Obviously, really good game on the Switch. They have all of these DLC courses. I think there's like 48 courses now, and I really enjoyed the DLC and the fact that they brought in so many of the older courses from past games. I'm actually going to give this an S. This is going to be our first S rank. And the reason for that being Mario Kart in general is just such a fun game, and I absolutely love it. And it makes sense that it's like the most popular selling game in all of the Nintendo Switch, and it's just because it's a good game. They have a good online feature where you can play with lots of people. And then like I said, like there's just a lot of good features with the game. Lots of races, lots of like racers. It's a good game. So yeah, S rank. Anyway, so Overcooked 2 is just absolute chaos. You can play it by yourself and suffer and have a hard time because it is so hard. And when I say suffer, I mean like in a good way. But it's a fun game. It's just incredibly stressful. But it's a good like party game too. And you can fight with your friends all night while you play this, as you're all fighting over who was supposed to wash the dishes and didn't, and now you don't have enough plates for the rice. Anyway, it's honestly a pretty fun game. So I'll put it as a B, just because it's not like the most, like, you know, it's not like one of those games where I'm like, oh my gosh, you have to play this like right now, but it's pretty fun. So I'll put it as a B. All right. The next game is Moving Out. It's kind of the same vibe as Overcooked 2, where instead of cooking things like a bunch of dishes, you're instead trying to move someone's house, and you have to stack everything neatly in this moving truck so that you can fit everything. And same thing, you're going to be fighting with your friends a little bit as you're all trying to figure out who forgot the chair, and now you're running behind and you're out of time and you have to start the level over. But it's a fun game. I really like it. I think it is another good party game, like I said. I'm going to put it as a B as well, though, just because it's kind of the same level as Overcooked 2, like where it's really, really good, but nothing super duper duper special. All right. Pokemon Legends Arceus. Okay, so Pokemon Legends Arceus was the first open world Pokemon game that I've ever played. It's a really interesting game, actually. I like kind of puts you at like the beginning of the timeline of Pokemon 2, which is interesting as well, because I feel like everything else is set like way later in the timeline. But I had a lot of fun playing this, and I really liked the open world aspect because it's like it kind of added a cool little twist. Like, oh, you see a Pokemon over there? Why don't you just like sneak up on it and just throw a Pokeball at it? It's not like you're randomly like running into them in the like, you know, in the tall grass or whatever, and you don't have the option to like pick what you aim at. Like, you can actually see the Pokemon and be like, yep, I'm gonna catch that. I'm actually gonna put this as an A, just because it was a very unique game and I really enjoyed it and I played a lot of it. And honestly, so on my streams and stuff, I play mostly Animal Crossing, but I do play like other games as well, like other Nintendo and cozy games. And like out of every game I've played besides Animal Crossing, this is probably the second most played game I've done on my channel before. And so that really, I guess, just shows how much I like it. So I'll put it as an A. Ni no Kuni: Wrath of the White Witch is next. Ni no Kuni is a JRPG game. And it's pretty fun. I will say I'm not a huge fan of like JRPGs because I just don't like the gameplay. Like I don't know. I just don't like how you have to play. Like I hate the turn-based, but you're also playing in real time. Like it honestly stresses me out a little bit. I do like Ni no Kuni though, and I liked the story. I thought it was a sweet story. Kind of tore at my heart a little bit a couple of times. I'm gonna put it as a B just because it's not like the most amazing game I've ever played in my life. It's definitely not mid either, but just because of the JRPG aspect, I can't get past that, so it's gonna be a B. All right, the next game is Pokemon Shining Pearl. So I like Pokemon Shining Pearl. It's completely different from Arceus in the sense that like it's more like a basic Pokemon game where you're like running around, you run through the tall grass, you run through the caves, you're gonna get randomly attacked by Pokemon, and then you have to fight them. And I did enjoy it. There was some fun Pokemon we got in this game, and the only thing is Cynthia, the final boss, was freaking ridiculous. And do you guys want to know how I beat her? I just wore out her last Pokemon because I was able to take out 5 of her 6 Pokemon so easily, but one of her Pokemon had the most ridiculous move and he would just one-shot my entire team. I literally just used 45 revives and made it so that he had no good moves left that he could actually hurt my team, and then I killed him. So kind of a lame boss fight in my opinion. So that kind of irked me a little bit because I was like, I don't really even feel like I won this. I feel like I just basically won by default. So I'm going to put it as a B because I did enjoy it up until the boss fight. The boss fight was just ridiculous. All right, Gang Beasts. Gang Beasts is same vibe kind of as Overcooked 2 and Moving Out, where it's like a party game. You're basically just like, fighting your friends and you're trying to throw them off the side of a building, basically. It's kind of like a last man standing sort of thing. Not the most amazing game I've ever played, but it's definitely not boring or bad either. But, I wouldn't say that I would necessarily pick it as like even up here. I'm going to put it as a C just because it is kind of mid in my opinion. Nothing like super duper good or like even just like somewhat good. It's just kind of like, I don't know, it's just okay. The next game I'm going to rate is Hades. Hades is actually really underrated in my opinion. It's really fun. I put it off for a while because I had other games that I had much rather played at the time, and so it kind of just got put at the bottom of the pile. But man, when I finally pulled it out, it was really good. And basically the whole point is you're trying to break out of the underworld and you die a bunch of times because it's really hard. And so as you get stronger, you get further along, and then until eventually you just break out. I'm going to put this as an A just because it was actually, like I said, really underrated, really fun, and just kind of a different way of playing a game that I've never played before where like, it's kind of like Returnal or whatever, where you die and then you kind of start at the beginning, but you have like a little bit of like extra XP or whatever. So like it gets easier as you go. But I got pretty good at this game. I'm not going to lie by the time I got to the final boss. So yeah, I'll put it as an A because not quite S rank, but it was really, really good. And I would definitely recommend it to anyone who wants to play it. All right, my next game I'm going to rate is Ring Fit Adventure, actually. I bought this around the time it came out just because I wanted to work out more and I didn't really have the opportunity to do that, like at least outside and stuff. So I wanted a way to work out inside but have fun. And I was like, maybe I can trick myself if it's a video game because I'll want to work out because I have to beat the boss that's in front of me by working out. And honestly, it was really effective. I haven't played it in a while, honestly. I don't know why, I just haven't pulled it out in a while, but if someone was trying to work out, like develop a good habit of working out, and they liked video games. They just were really having a hard time getting into that habit of like, you know, working out 30 minutes a day or whatever. I would highly suggest this game. Like, it really worked for me. It also has like a pretty good story, honestly, which is why I wanted to play it. I wanted to keep progressing the story. So I'm gonna put it as a B, just because obviously, you know, like it's not like the most amazing game ever, but for like what it is, it's pretty good, honestly. And like I said, if you're trying to work out, you're trying to like become healthier, like, you know, more fit, or just, you know, you want to get into working out, I would try it. It's a good idea. Okay, the next game I'm gonna rate is Super Mario Odyssey. This is also a really fun game, and surprisingly, it is actually co-op, so I played it with my husband. Fun game, just, you know, a basic Mario game. You're running around, you're, you know, trying to beat Bowser, save Princess Peach. I'll put it as a B rank. Actually, I'll put it as an A rank. I'm gonna put it as an A rank just because it is a Mario game that I've enjoyed more than other Mario games. Like, I don't know, this is probably going to be like so controversial, but I'm not like, out of all of the Nintendo games, like the Mario games, like just the plain Mario games are probably like my least favorite. But yeah, I would much rather play Pokemon or like Legend of Zelda, or like even just like some of these party games. Like, I don't know, if I was given the option between like a basic Mario game or even like Mario Kart, I would pick Mario Kart. But this is a game I would probably actually play again, which is pretty good, seeing how, like I said, I'm not like a huge fan of Mario games, just like as a base game. But yeah, this was pretty good, honestly. So I'll put that as an A rank. All right, next on the list is Fire Emblem Three Houses. And it was actually the first Fire Emblem game I've ever played before. My husband finally got me into Fire Emblem with this game. This game is a work of art. It is amazing. It is literally like the story grips you. And like, I honestly did like the gameplay in this, just like the whole kind of like strategy where you get to kind of plan things out and like you move your people like a chessboard kind of. And I don't know, it was really fun, honestly. Like, I have probably dedicated like
300 hours
to just this game, because the thing too is there's like 3 or 4 different storylines, 5 I guess if you get the DLC. So you can literally play this game several times and get different stories too, which is amazing. Like, I was so attached to the characters in this game, like, I am not gonna lie. Also, if you are looking to play this game, start with the blue house. I'm just gonna say that right now without any other spoilers. Just start with the blue house. But just because, like I said, this game is so amazing and I played it for so long, it's gonna be an S rank for me. Just because, like, I would highly recommend this to anyone. Beautiful game. It's a beautiful game. All right, my next game I'm gonna rate is Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes. So Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes is actually based off of Fire Emblem 3 Houses. So it's a Warriors game, like I said, kind of like how Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity is a Warriors game for Breath of the Wild. But I will say this, I liked this Warriors game so much more than this Warriors game. Like, Hyrule Warriors was like mid for me. This was actually really well made. And again, had a really good story, slightly different than this just because it is kind of like a spin-off low-key, so it's like not exactly the same things. Like, you don't even have the same protagonist, but it's based off of Fire Emblem 3 Houses, and so of course if it's based off of Fire Emblem 3 Houses, it's gonna be pretty good. So I'm actually gonna put this as a B, but the reason for that is because you have to play this to appreciate this. Like, if you don't play 3 Houses, you're probably not going to care about Fire Emblem Warriors as much, in my opinion. But it's a really good game, honestly. And once you play Fire Emblem 3 Houses, I would say, yeah, for sure, go play Fire Emblem Warriors. Okay, so the next game we're going to rate is actually Fortnite. Fortnite, the first time I played it was actually on the Nintendo Switch. And this was back when I was getting into it for the first time. I actually started playing it in 2020 when COVID shut everything down and I had nothing to do. And I enjoyed it, you know, but As I discovered that online gaming was not good on the Switch, I kind of started trying it on the PlayStation, and then I started playing it on my PC, and eventually I stopped playing it on the Switch just because, like I said, the graphics are worse, your frame rate is worse, like just everything is slower. And so because of that, I'm gonna give it a C because it is playable, but like barely, kind of like, and it is fun. Like if the Switch is the only thing you have to play it on, that's okay. Like you can make it work, but there's definitely like other things you can like play on the Switch that are gonna work a lot better than Fortnite. And Fortnite, like, I don't know, like you can play Fortnite on and literally any other console or like your computer and get a way better experience. So on the Switch it's just kind of mid. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend it, but I'll give it a C. You know, it's not like the worst, like a D, but it's not amazing either. So you get a C, Fortnite. The next game I'm going to rate is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So, obviously they've made a lot of Smash Brothers. This is like number 4 or 5. And it's pretty good. They have a lot of good characters. I've actually gone and bought like all of the DLC characters basically because I've enjoyed them so much. And they have a lot of DLC characters from like Fire Emblem Three Houses, and they have Sora from Kingdom Hearts, like a lot of fan favorite, like, protagonists. And I just like Smash Brothers in general. Like it's just a really fun game to play, and you can play like with 8 people on this, which is also really fun. So I'm actually going to give it an S just because it's a good continuation of a really, really popular series. And like I said, they have good things, like you can play with 8 people. They have really good characters. They have good stages. Like it's a good game. And I would definitely recommend, like, if someone is buying a Switch, they should probably get Smash Brothers. I feel like what this S rank is turning into is like, if someone is buying a Switch and they're like, what game should I get? Like, what is the best games to get for the Switch? This is what this S rank is for. It's basically the best games you could possibly get for the Switch. So basically, yeah, I would definitely say Super Smash Bros. Deserves to be up there. The next game I'm going to rate is Breath of the Wild. And if you have not heard of Breath of the Wild, then that is crazy. It's a game that took 10 years for Nintendo to make. Like, they were working on Twilight Princess and they thought that this was going to be the next game after Twilight Princess, and yeah, they were wrong. They did Skyward Sword because they needed more time to work on this, and they needed better consoles to release it on. They ended up releasing it on the Wii U first, which we all know how the Wii U went. We don't talk about the Wii U. But it works really well on the Switch. And honestly, I love this game. Like, to this day, I have spent hundreds of hours on it. It's a beautiful game, open world, just beautiful story. It's good. It is like, that is all I can say, is it is like one of the best games I've played to this day. So of course, S rank. All right. Tears of the Kingdom is a continuation of the story of Breath of the Wild, but a few years into the future. And obviously, I'm not going to say too much about the game because I know there's probably still people playing it, maybe some people trying to beat it, maybe some people waiting to buy it for whatever reason, but it's a good game. And because it is basically a continuation of Breath of the Wild, of course it's going to be an S rank. Again, you would want to play Breath of the Wild first so you could appreciate Tears of the Kingdom, but Tears of the Kingdom is a beautiful game. And in my opinion, they did some things that really improved upon Breath of the Wild and like made it better in a way. But I consider these two games honestly like one and the same. I know some people are like Breath of the Wild is better or whatever, and some people are like, oh no, Tears of the Kingdom is way better. But I honestly can just consider these like two games in like the same series basically, and I just think they're both beautiful. So yeah, Tears of the Kingdom definitely gets an S rank. All right, the next game I'm gonna rate is Super Mario Party. So Super Mario Party, for anyone who's never played it before, is basically like a board game, but with like mini games like between every round. And it's kind of a fun party game, honestly. Like, it's super duper fun. And I personally enjoy it, but I'm finding myself having to like convince people to play it with me. And it's so sad. Like, my family members are like, no, we don't want to play that with you. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, It's so fun. Like, just play with me, please. But I would give it an A rank just because it is a fun party game. It's really popular. And it's just like fun, like I said, because it's like a board game, but you also get mini games. And it's really just a good thing to bring to a party and just play with friends. It's definitely not the most amazing or memorable game you've ever played in your entire life, but it is a good option if you're like, wanting a good game and maybe you've already played all of these games or something. So I would definitely buy it, definitely recommend it, but yeah, it gets an A. All right, the next game I'm going to rate is Splatoon 3. So Splatoon 3 came out like a year or two ago. Maybe it was a year ago, actually. Honestly, I'm losing track of time. I don't know. But anyway, it was pretty fun, honestly. I will admit, I actually haven't beat the story mode, and I actually have not played online with friends. I actually bought it specifically to play online with friends. And I know a lot of people like Splatoon 3, but for me, it was a little hard to get through at times. Like, I did kind of like the gameplay aspect where it's like, there's a lot of defensive, like in that you can like go into the ink and like, kind of sneak around and like swim around, but then you can also like shoot people and like you have all these different weapons and you have like a katana and you have like your gun, and I don't know. It was like a fun, interesting game, but for me personally, it like wasn't anything super duper like amazing. I know that I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate from my Splatoon community, so I am so sorry about that. But I'm actually gonna probably give this a B, just because I couldn't get into it enough to like, I guess, keep playing it and like beat it. But I don't know, maybe you guys can change my mind. I guess comment down below if I need to play more Splatoon 3, but for now it's gonna get a B rank, where it's a good game, but definitely nothing super duper special in my opinion, but still B is pretty good, so don't come after me, guys. All right, the next game I am going to rate is Untitled Goose Game. So Untitled Goose Game is actually a lot of fun. You're just a goose running around a town in like England basically, and you're just like causing chaos. The game is super duper short. Like, you probably can beat it somewhere between 2 to 4 hours, which is kind of disappointing because I think this is like $30. And it does get stressful at times. I will say this, it is definitely a like you can do it with 2 people, and it kind of is a little bit easier with 2 people. Like, if you play it by yourself, you're going to be struggling a little bit. But I don't know. I will say this, I don't like that it's such a short game. Like, that kind of bothers me a little bit. And especially for the price, like that's just not a good deal. It's hard because I'm like, it's a good game, but it's nothing special. But I wouldn't say it was like meh either. It honestly needs to go somewhere between like B and C. Oh, you know what? I'm actually gonna put it as a C. Like, it wasn't like bad. It definitely wasn't bad, but I've also like enjoyed these games way more than this game. So I'm gonna put it in C, just because it wasn't bad, but it also wasn't like super duper good either, especially because it is such a short game. So it's gonna get a C rank. All right. The next game I am going to rank is Final Fantasy VII. They released it on the Switch as well, and so I played it on the Switch because I played Final Fantasy VII Remake, and of course I wanted to like get some context for what was going on and like also like see what happened in the original game, and I did enjoy it. I will admit, and I'm probably going to get a lot of hate from the Final Fantasy community, I actually liked the remake a lot more. And I have already pre-ordered the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and I am so excited to play that. Not that I didn't enjoy the original, but like, I don't know, like the remake is just so good. And obviously, you know, things happen differently in the remake than they happen in this game. But I still enjoyed this game. I obviously played through the whole thing. So I'm going to give it a B because it was pretty good. But it also wasn't like my most favorite game I played on the Switch before, so it gets a B. All right, Tetris 99 is something else. So I actually used to love this game, but it's all online. So you're basically playing against other people around the world who are also playing Tetris. And I've never won this game, not once. This game is literally impossible to play. And I love Tetris, which is why I like Dr. Mario, because it's basically Tetris. But like, oh my gosh, this game is infuriating just because you can't win. It's impossible. Like, I don't know what it is, but like, I feel like I'm playing against bots. And of course, you know, a robot is going to beat me at a game where like you have to be so precise and so quick. This is actually gonna probably be my one and only D rank because it's not good. Like, it really isn't good. I played it because it was free and I liked that it was free, but it's not a good game, honestly. And I would not recommend it. Like, just because it's free, don't play it. There's other games you can play. Okay, when I say free, I think I got this with Nintendo Online, but there's other good games you can play with Nintendo Online, like Dr. Mario. Go play Dr. Mario. Don't play Tetris 99. It's not worth it. The next one is Stardew Valley, which, of course, perfect cozy game. If you like Animal Crossing, you probably also play Stardew Valley. But Stardew Valley is so amazing, and it's actually one of those games you can play on the Switch, and it's like you're gonna get the same experience as if you were playing on like PC. But I will definitely give this. It's hard because I want to give it an S, but I'm probably gonna give it an A. And the reason I'm gonna give it an A is because you do not have to play this on the Nintendo Switch. Like, these you have to play on the Nintendo Switch. Like, you cannot play them any other way. And this, you can play on the Nintendo Switch, have a really good time, absolutely love this game, but you don't have to play it on Nintendo Switch. You can go play it on PC. But like I said, I want to move it up here because personally for me, it is one of my favorite games. But while it is a pretty good game, I don't think it quite meets up to what these games are. So it's going to get an A rank. All right, Sonic Forces. This is like the one and only Sonic game that I have played on the Nintendo Switch. And when I played this, it was fun, but it was incredibly broken. And I remember the final level was so glitchy, it took me like 50 tries to run through it. Not because I was doing anything wrong, but because the game kept glitching. And that was so infuriating. Like, it was not a bad game, but it also was not good either. So I'm gonna give it a C. And last but not least, we have the one and only Animal Crossing. I don't know if you guys have heard of Animal Crossing, but it is so bad. I'm just kidding. It's really good. It is obviously one of my favorite games just because it literally has become my whole channel. I don't know. It's just such a cozy game. There's so many things you can do in it. I've made so many friends just by playing Animal Crossing, and like, I don't know. It's just, I don't even know how to explain how I feel about Animal Crossing words. Like, it's a wonderful game, and it's the second most popular selling game in like the entire Nintendo Switch console. That kind of testifies on how good it is. Basically, if you like cozy games and if you like Nintendo, you've got to get Animal Crossing. I hope you enjoyed my ranking of these 30 Nintendo Switch games. Is there anything you think you would change? Let me know in the comments below. Also, you should click on that video that's popping up right about now. You'll probably like it a lot, honestly. I hope you have an amazing day, and as usual, happy gaming.